What's Gucci, everybody? It's AJ here again with another interview question tutorial. And in this tutorial, I want to talk about another interview question that I've been asked in my time, and that is this. If you are given two stacks, one that is completely empty and the other one with random numbers, write an algorithm that sorts the numbers and inserts them into the second empty stack. You are only allowed to use one temporary variable or one local variable for this algorithm. Now, what we're going to want to do here inside this algorithm is we're going to have one stack that essentially has any random numbers. As you can see on my example, I pushed on 12, 34, and 1 for my example. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the first element we put on, pop it off, store it in the temporary variable, and then look at stack 2. And while stack 2 is not empty and the temporary variable is less than the top of stack 2, which would be peaking at the stack 2, I'm going to push that number on the second stack back on the stack 1 so I can push the smaller number on the stack 2. If you understand this algorithm or want to try out this problem yourself before looking at the solution, feel free to stop the video right now. But right now I'm going to start my solution. So let me get rid of that right there. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to want to cycle through the first stack. So I'm going to check that while stack 1 is not empty, I'm going to take the first variable. I'm going to take my temporary variable and I'm going to store the top of stack 1 inside that temporary variable. Then I'm going to do another while loop that's going to check the second stack, and I'm going to do while stack 2 is not empty, and I'm going to add an AND statement. Temp is less than stack 2 dot peak. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to do stack 1 dot push, and I'm going to push stack 2 dot pop. And what that's going to do is this inner loop is kind of the main problem, or probably the hardest thing to figure out in this algorithm, is that when I come across, let's say I'm pushing an element that's not going to be perfectly in order. So I push 12 and I push 34. As you can see, I push 12 and I push 34, but then I have 1. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop off 1, and as you can see here, temp is less than stack 2.peak, or stack 2.peak has nothing, or stack 2 is empty. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually take stack 2 and push the temp variable. And see, now you're going to see that I took 1, which is at the top of the stack right now. I'm going to pop it off right here. Then I'm going to check this while loop condition is going to fail because stack 2 is empty. And because of that, I'm now going to push stack 2. So now 1 is at the top of stack 2. And now let's see right here. I'm going to 34 is at the top of the stack. I'm going to put 34 inside the temp variable by popping that off. And I'm going to look inside this while loop, and I'm going to say while the stack is not empty, which is true, it now has the element of 1 at the bottom. And I'm going to say while and temp is less than stack 2.peak. Well, the temporary variable is 34 and stack 2.peak is 1, so that fails, so that AND condition fails. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to do stack 2.push temp. So now I have 1 at the bottom of the stack and 34 is the new peak or top of that stack. Now I've just got one element left in stack 1, 12. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make that my temporary variable, as you can see. Let me make this the middle. And now I've got my while loop commencing again. And this time this while loop will commence because the temporary variable 12 is less than 34 the peak. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do stack 1. I'm going to push an element on the stack 1, and it's going to be the top or the pop of stack 2. So I'm going to take that 34 off the stack, and I'm going to put it back in stack 1. And basically, if there were more elements that were, and I'm doing this so I remove all the elements that are greater than 12 to put 12 in the appropriate space. So now that I've removed all the, so that's why this while loop will commence, because I'll keep checking that the new peak is if it's less than temp or greater than 12 temp, and if the temp is greater than the newer peak, the newer top, then I can finally push it when it exits this while loop. So as you can see here, according to my logic, it should work. I'm just going to add a few more just numbers in here so I can make sure it works. Let's add 0, just so, well, let's add 15 just so we can make sure. And what I'm going to do here is to show the example of this, I'm going to make a while loop here at the end, and I'm going to do while stack2 dot is empty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to print SISO. I'm going to print out stack2 dot pop. Oops. I'm going to print those elements out. So hopefully when it prints out, it should print out in this order 34, 15, 12, and 1 when I run this program. So let's give it a try. And there we go. Look at that majestic thing. 34, 15, 12, and 1 in that order because the stack is now ranked that way. So as you can see, guys, that's another good question. And it's kind of a tough algorithm maybe to think of in a 15-minute time period. I had a tough time thinking of a 15-minute time period. But it's definitely something cool to think about and something really awesome to do. I hope you guys have a great day. Check out my website and comment if you guys like me to see some other tutorials. And have a great day.